Two iconic choreographers, Bob Fosse and Tommy Tune. They both began as dancers and built thriving careers off of their Tony-winning choreography and directing. They each created their own unique styles to the point where certain moves can still be recognized as Fosse-esque or very Tommy Tune. They each were extremely influential to the musical theater dance genre with their own dancing, the shows they worked on, and their individual styles.
Bob Fosse was a Broadway choreographer, dancer, and director. He was born in Chicago, Illinois on June 23, 1927. A trained dancer, Fosse achieved success as a choreographer and director of stage and screen musicals. The first few parts that Fosse landed were as part of a Broadway chorus. In 1953, he appeared briefly in the MGM movie musical Kiss Me, Kate. His work attracted the attention of Broadway director George Abbott and choreographer Jerome Robbins. Hugely successful by 1960, Fosse faced opposition from directors and producers who considered his material too suggestive. He decided to take on the role of director as well as choreographer in order to maintain the integrity of his artistic vision in Hollywood as well as on Broadway. His subsequent musicals included Sweet Charity, Cabaret, and Pippin. The 1972 film version of Cabaret won 8 Academy Awards. Fosse won Tony Awards for direction and choreography for his work on Pippin, His Life and Times in 1981. Fosse died of a heart attack in Washington, D.C. on September 23, 1987.
Tommy Tune is an iconic American dancer, actor, singer, choreographer, director, and producer. Tune grew up in Texas and studied dance and theater throughout his early education years. Once he got his master's in directing from University of Texas, after getting his BFA in drama, he moved to New York City to make a career. His Broadway debut was in Baker Street, and he also appeared in many more shows on and off Broadway. He got his start in choreography for Best Little Whorehouse in Texas in '09. From there, his career as a jack-of-all-trades skyrocketed, earning him 10 Tony Awards, including a Lifetime Achievement Tony Award. He is still active today and dancing his way through life.
Even though Bob Fosse and Tommy Tune each have their own very distinct choreographic styles, it is possible to also see some similarities between the two. For example, in both of their styles, they focus on isolations of certain body parts, such as the hands. They are also both big on stage pictures and playing with tempos, being able to change from slow legato movements and quicker, more sharp movements. They both also evolved from choreographers to director choreographers. The biggest and most notable similarity between Fosse and Tune is that they were both masters of crafting their choreography based on the world and the style of the show that they were composing for.
These two choreographers had very different styles. Fosse was very smooth and almost sexy. He was very picky about the little movements he used to get the audience's attention. Tommy Tune, on the other hand, used big flashy numbers and moves. The kicking of the legs or the big hand gestures, these two things set them apart. Tune was very sharp and deliberate on his movements.
Like
In Our Favorite Son from the Will Rogers Follies, Tommy Tune choreographed a dance with girls sitting on chairs and moving their legs about. You will see that in the middle section of our dance, we sit in the chairs and pay homage to Tune's original choreography. We have ripples with the legs, and then we also turn to the side and do the part from Our Favorite Son, where the legs cross each other and kick in the air.
Bob Fosse's dances were sexual. They were physically demanding of even his most highly trained dancers. Full of joyous humor as well as bleak cynicism, his works addressed the full range of human emotions. There is almost a mime-like quality and articulation to Bob Fosse's hand choreography. Specifically placed with purpose, the hands are used in many ways, from splayed to a sensual rolling of the wrists to intrigue audience members.
Fosse was all about isolations, especially those of the hips. We used this piece of his style multiple times in our dance. In the very beginning of the dance, after the head roll, we all do these tiny jumps to the side while rolling our hips around. Fosse was big on the combination of subtle movements and hips. Then, in the middle of the dance, we do a front and back movement of the hips while pointing our legs out, sliding our arms up, and scooting backwards in a slow, quick motion. Finally, at the very end of our dance, we do the tiny jumps while rolling our hips to the side again. These are all examples of how Fosse would use hip isolations in his choreography.
Tommy Tune loved sharp movements, and the best way he showed them was through his hand gestures. In our choreography, you can see these movements being demonstrated when we touch our head, and then our knee, and then the ankle, and then back to the knee, and then back to the head, and then deliberately placing hands in the lap.